and the GCN Radio Network.
The experts are clear. Sunlight, purified water, healthy non-GMO food, and having a good attitude is essential to a healthy immune system. But I go further with Super Nascent Iodine X2 from InfoWarsLife.com. 50% stronger than our original and revolutionary Nascent Iodine formula, coming from a deep earth crystal source that no other supplier has. Most other forms of iodine come from seaweed in areas plagued by Fukushima and other contaminants. Not our iodine. It comes from over 200 million-year-old crystal salt deposits and is tested and proven to be completely pure. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today. See the informational videos. Read the information they're compiled. And for a limited time, when you use promo code NOW at checkout, you get an additional 5% off the entire family of InfoWarsLife.com products. Secure your Survival Shield X2 today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. For all of recorded history, civilizations around the world praised the health benefits of silver. At InfoWars Life, our mission is to bring you the highest quality, purest, cleanest, effective colloidal silver on the market today for the lowest price available. You don't have to be a doctor to know. The fall and winter months are the most dangerous time of year in North America when it comes to you and your family's health. InfoWarsLife.com is very excited to announce our biggest run yet of Silver Bullet colloidal silver, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. Now, InfoWarsLife.com has taken colloidal silver to the next level using a cutting-edge technique that is free of toxic artificial additives. Now more than ever, it's important to stock up on high-quality Silver Bullet from InfoWarsLife.com and to help others during Christmas by teaching them about the powerful benefits of silver. Secure your Silver Bullet today at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139. In the near future.
When you realize how fake it all is, the football, the basketball.
Alert. Security alert. This is Homeland Security. Analysis. InfoWars building independent media operation.
We let the worst people get controlled and tell us that we are the ones responsible.
Prime directive. Discredit Alex Jones.
Jones is the wildly popular conspiracy theorist.
A popular conspiracy theory talk show called InfoWars.
Alex Jones is now in an Austin jail.
These people are assaulting us.
Targeting of patriots engaged.
They are never going to stop. They're never going to deviate from their program until we stop them.
Block free iPhone app at Infowars.com. Block free podcast and video feed. Imperative. Destroy Prison Planet TV.
You gotta set your eye on the enemy, not worry about what propaganda they put out. Intellectually, it's begun. You can feel it.
Crashing through the lies and disinformation, it's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight. Paul Joseph Watson is joining us from the UK, and we're going to be joining our reporters in Ferguson, Missouri to check on the status of what's going on there. Now, Silver Bullet is back in stock, but as usual, it's a limited supply. Once it runs out, it's probably going to take about 6 weeks to get another batch in. The reason that happens is because it's really difficult, slow process to get silver in this kind of concentration. We have it concentrated to 30 parts per million in a pure base of deionized water. It's widely known that colloidal silver is a vital supplement for maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Now, InfoWarsLife.com takes colloidal silver to the next level using a cutting-edge technique that's free of toxic artificial additives. There's never been a more important time, especially with flu season coming up, to have a powerful and clean form of colloidal silver within reach for you and your family. Go to InfoWarsLife.com to order Silver Bullet now or call 1-888-253-3139. That's 888-253-3139. Silver Bullet. We've got them in for a limited time. Now let's go to Ferguson, Missouri. We have our reporters there. Joe Biggs and Jakari Jackson have been there this week awaiting the grand jury verdict and also noticing how tensions are building. Joe, what do you see?
Joe Biggs, I'm standing outside of the Justice Center here in Clayton, Missouri. This is a little downtown area where most of the decisions are made for the laws This is where the police department is for Ferguson. So this is an area that everyone's keeping their eye on. This is where the decision's supposed to come down from the grand jury. And today, as you can see, if we pan over to the left, there is way more media out here today. There's a lot of police that we haven't seen patrolling the area, people walking around the building as well. Another interesting thing, people are bracing for an explosion of civil unrest, I should say. I got a letter last night from an employee at a business in this area. And now what happened is the property manager sent out a letter to all their tenants. Now, this is a building that houses a lot of different medical facilities, radiology, oncology, different things like that. And in the letter, it says, due to the possibility of a uprise of civil unrest this weekend into next week, I warn you to stock up, to brace yourself, basically, to keep the patients there all weekend into the next week. And what they said they're going to do is they're going to lock the doors and not allow anyone to enter or leave. So they're going to lock medical patients down, workers in these buildings in case something happens. And they said they're going to cooperate with police and other government entities.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. And we've been talking a little bit about this between Paul Joseph Watson and I earlier in the program, how unfortunate that this is not about trying to get oversight or control of the police or setting limits or terms on the rules of engagement to try to stop this epidemic of violence, but it's become a race war. It's something as part of that. I think there's agent provocateurs that are threatening the police, and that kind of feeds this whole mentality that they're trying to feed the police all the time, that they are actually in a war on the streets and that the public are enemy combatants.
Yeah, it's nothing like that. Last night, everyone was peacefully protesting. It didn't get out of control for, maybe it was like 5 minutes, but it didn't get out of control until all these police officers showed up and they started lining up in riot gear. Before that, the people were just out protesting across the street in the parking lot. Some moved over into the sidewalk in front of the police station, but they were just out there protesting. Once a police officer showed up with batons, shields, riot gear, then it made the people angry. They're asking them, why do you come out here with guns? Why do you come out here with shields? Why do you come out here with all this gear? You guys are inciting the violence. We just wanted to stay here. Now you guys are showing up and you're trying to flex your muscle and make your presence known. So what a lot of people did is they got angry. One of the police officers pepper sprayed a young woman, and that agitated the crowd a lot. And what that did was push the protesters into the street. They began to block traffic. Jakar Jackson and I, once again, were standing in a very lawful spot on the sidewalk. We were once again pushed by the police into the road, into an unlawful area where we were impeding the flow of traffic. And then last night, yet again, they bum rushed everybody, pushed them into a dark parking lot, started throwing people to the ground. Someone said they were shot with a rubber bullet. I didn't personally see that, but that's what was said. There was a lot of scuffling going on. One man fought with the police for a minute, was thrown to the ground. 3 people were arrested last night, one 17 years old, one 19, and one 25.
We're watching anybody who's looking at the video feed of the broadcast can see the footage that you guys shot, the B-roll that's there, the police confronting people. And that's exactly it, Joe. They're getting needlessly confrontational. There was an article just this last week. It was on NPR, I think, and they were talking about how some of the remote areas of Alaska might start to arm their policemen. Says it's the last area in America where the police aren't armed at all. They basically go out, and what they do is they talk to people. They don't try to get confrontational with them. As a matter of fact, they talked to a police officer, and he said part of the job is trying to talk to people and in a non-confrontational way, and yet we see just the opposite here. Yeah.
That's de-escalating the situation without a show of force. That makes someone a lot more comfortable. When someone comes up to you with a shotgun pointed at you, wearing riot gear, in your mind, you're thinking, all right, this person means business. They're not trying to negotiate with me. You don't see negotiators who go into a hostile or a hostage situation with a gun and a shield. No, they go dressed down, no gun on. They go in, they confront the hostage taker, and they talk to them one-on-one, because that's the only way you can de-escalate a situation. You don't go in there with guns, because all that does is incite more violence and make people uneasy about themselves and put themselves in a defensive posture.
I think they've been trying to incite this thing from day one. As I mentioned to Paul earlier, you know, if they had this evidence and they knew what was happening, they had a deposition, they didn't give anybody any indication of this. They wanted to build this up into a racial confrontation, into a confrontation that further enforces this idea amongst the police that they're at war. Paul, did you have a question that you wanted to ask Joe while he's there?
Yeah, I was just reading a headline that's just come out. Masked Ferguson protesters with guns threaten violence, which is basically a YouTube video of some people dressed up in black ski masks threatening violence. I just wanted to ask Joe if it was part of the conversation amongst the demonstrators, if they were aware of the fact that there are outside agitators, as there were back in August, planning maybe to escalate it from their side. Is that something that people are talking about?
There's a lot of people out there making empty threats, you know, via social media. All the people that we've seen on the ground out here at these protests, when the cameras aren't on them, you know, they're out there hugging. You see black people, white people hugging each other, talking, laughing, joking. And for some reason, the mainstream media always catches people when they're yelling at the police officers. So it seems like all the people here are just angry and they want to fight. You know, about the video you're talking about, I saw that about 4 days ago, and I did a little research myself. That's actually a group out of Atlanta, so that's not something here in Ferguson. But Atlanta's another spot where they're talking about having demonstrations after this grand jury decision comes down.
You know, we have an article on InfoWars from Max Slavo where he's talking about outside agitators, and one in particular, Elisa Fithian, who he says was partly responsible for organizing the violent protest in the battle for Seattle, essentially saying, you know, we need to take this to people who don't look like me. I'm presuming that she's black. I haven't watched the video, so I don't know if she's black or white, but I'm presuming that's what it is. Again, an outside agitator feeding this racial divide. We're going to have Eric Rush joining us in the next hour. He's an author of Negrophilia, From Slave Block to Pedestal, and so he's going to be talking about the racial aspect of this, how people like Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton always seem to show up at the scene of, as Paul Joseph Watson put it, these ambiguous shootings to try to exploit the racial unrest there. But have you heard anything about anything else about the grand jury verdict? Nothing is surfaced yet about that. Is that correct?
Well, so what we're hearing so far today, and I believe at this time, this is probably the truest thing we've gotten so far, and that's because of the large, you know, influx of all these mainstream media people that are starting to show up now and the heavy police presence today. What we're being told is that the grand jury is going to call the family and give them a 48-hour advance notice. So today is the day that they're supposed to call the family and also warn the military and the police in the area for what's going to happen after this decision comes out. But, you know, from the people I've talked to in Ferguson last night on the streets, they all know that the family, once they get that information, there will be a leak. They're going to make phone calls. They're going to tell somebody, and somebody on that inner circle is going to want to be the person that releases it out. And I have a feeling by tonight, we'll know whether or not Darren Wilson is going to be indicted on these charges or not. But what they're saying is they're going to try and wait and publicly let the media know on Sunday, 48 hours later. But I have a feeling that's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's going to leak out, and that's going to get Obama's amnesty off of the top of the headlines, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the plan anyways, you know. So let's go ahead and cover that up and with a Ferguson burqa.
Yeah, that's right. Paul, do you have another question that you wanted to ask Joe?
Yeah, just reading some breaking news, actually. Ferguson schools are going to be closed Monday and Tuesday. That's not confirmed, but it seems like a pretty strong rumor. So if this decision is announced today, it looks like that any trouble, any violence, if it happens, they expect it to happen on Sunday after that 48-hour notice. Schools are closed on Monday and Tuesday. Just wanted to ask Joe if Officer Darren Wilson has suggested that he will resign no matter what happens with the grand jury case. Do you think that will serve to de-escalate any of the tensions, or will it not make any difference?
I don't think it's going to make any difference. You know, like I said, Ferguson has this gaping wound, and it's been festering now for months on end because this has taken, quite honestly, too long to come to a decision on. You know, they've been teeter-tottering with the media, you know, acting like they're going to release the information. People around here are fed up. They're tired. The hate's been built up for this guy. You know, regardless if they indict him or not, he's not ever going to be a police officer again, I don't think. His face has been on too many TV screens throughout America. I don't foresee him ever having a police beat job where he's going up and down the street patrolling whatsoever. So regardless of that outcome, you know, it's probably in his best interest to quit. And from what I heard, too,